Hello friends, welcome to my channel Clinical Biochemistry by Dr. P.K. Prabhakar. Today we are going to see blue-white screening. So first we will see the basic steps of the gene cloning, and then we will talk about how this blue-white screening works and what is this blue-white screening. So when we are talking about the basic steps of the gene cloning, first we need a proper vector which will work as a vehicle for my gene of interest. So here we are having a vector, and on this vector we are going to digest it with the proper restriction endonuclease. Simultaneously, at the same time, we need a gene of interest which we want to clone, which we want to express. So with the same restriction endonuclease, we are also going to digest this gene of interest. Once we are having digested vector as well as gene of interest, then we are going to ligate both of these together. So we are going to have a recombinant vector on which gene of interest is already loaded. So this is called as ligation steps, where ligase enzyme is going to ligate it. After ligation, we are going to transformation has to occur. So this vector needs loaded vector or the recombinant vector need to be transformed and into the proper host systems where it will be either cloning will occur or expression will occur. So transformation of the recombinant plasmid into the competent host cells need to occur. And after that one, once we have got the correct transformed cells, then that transformed cells need to be cultured. So at this step, we need to select the actual correct transformations, transformed cells where my vector has been transformed. So what is selectable marker? A selectable marker is normally going to require to identify, to detect your transform cells. When you are going to do transformation, when we are going to sending the recombinant vector into a competent host, because it is invisible, you are not going to see those all the vectors or the cells into through the naked eye. So you need to put a marker so that will give you informations by which you are going to select the transform cells. You are going to pick the transform cells. So it may be very different kind of genes we are going to use. It may be antibiotic resistance genes, or it may be some kind of color producing genes. When we are going to talk about antibiotic resistance genes, which we use as a selectable markers, it may be ampicillin resistant, tetracycline resistance, it may be chloramphenicol, neomycin, means any of the antibiotic resistance genes can be used. When we are going to classify the selectable marker, there are three basic classes. So first one is either positive, or we are going to call it selectable markers. Positive or selectable markers are those type of selectable markers which normally gives selection advantages to the host organism, like antibiotic resistance. So if any gene is having intact selectable marker genes, organism will survive. If that gene is not intact, organism will not survive. So that is called as positive or selection markers. Second one is negative or counter selectable markers. These are those selectable markers which normally helps us in the elimination or inhibit the growth of organism, like thymidine kinase or some kind of toxin production genes. So if those genes will be intact, it will kill the organism. If genes will be inhibited, means genes will be digested or bifurcated, organism will survive. Intact genes normally kills the organism. So that is called as negative selectable markers. If we are going to use both type positive and negative selectable marker, that also going to occurs, like auxotrophic, that is a positive selectable markers, and chemical or toxin compounds which is working as a negative selectable markers. So we are going to use all the three types of selectable markers in different vectors, different kind of strategy. What we are going to see here is we are going to say these are the two different plasmids. One is PBR322, which is having only antibiotic resistance gene. This is ampicillin resistance genes, and this is tetracycline resistance genes. This is PUC series of vectors, that is PUC19, which derived from this PBR322 only. This is having LAC Z alpha genes and ampicillin resistance genes. What does this mean? If this gene, this is the gene which provides the characteristic feature of the tetracycline resistance to the bacteria. If this gene is intact, means whole gene, if the bacteria are going to express these proteins for this gene, particular genes, bacteria will be resistant for tetracycline. If I will use a BAMH restriction endonuclease and insert a gene of interest here. So this gene will be fragmented, means it will be in two fragments, and in between we are having our gene of interest. So in that case bacteria will lose their tetracycline resistance capacity. So in that case bacteria will not survive in the presence of tetracycline. Similarly here this proteins, this gene provides a property for the ampicillin resistance. So if till the gene is intact, bacteria will be ampicillin resistance. If this gene will be digested or it will be splitted, it will not have ampicillin resistance properties. So this is antibiotic resistance genes, and if we are having LAC-Z genes or LAC-Z alpha genes, this is normally help us in the blue-white screening. So normally when we are going to use this antibiotic resistance or the color production genes, we are having either antibiotic resistance genes or we are going to use LAC-Z genes. When we are going to use ampicillin antibiotic resistance genes, that time normally transformed cells are going to be selected on the basis of replica plating. So we will have a separate video for this replica plating, I will tell you. And when we are going to use LAC-Z genes, that time we are going to use blue-white screening. So today we are going to talk about blue-white screening, how this blue-white screening works and what is the mechanism behind that one. So in the blue-white screening we are having a plasmid vectors. In this plasmid vector we require one of the antibiotic resistance genes, and we are having LAC-Z gene. This LAC-Z gene is coming from the LAC operon of the bacteria. LAC operon. In this LAC operon means, LAC operon normally if you are knowing, we are having Z, Y, A gene. So this Z gene we are going to have only one gene, this Z gene, which is normally going to give us beta galactosidase enzyme. So if this gene which is going to give us beta galactosidase genes, if this gene is intact, if this gene we are having here MCS, multi-cloning sites, means here we are having sites for the various restriction endonuclease. So if we are going to digest here and insert one of our gene of interest, in that case this LAC-Z gene is going to be splitted, like this is half of the LAC-Z genes and half of the portion is coming here, and here I have inserted my gene of interest. In that case LAC-Z gene has been splitted, and in that case no beta galactosidase will be produced. So we are going to detect this one beta galactosidase is there or it is not there. So now what this beta galactosidase exactly doing? So in the culture media, whenever we are going to select the transformed cells, that time in the culture media we are going to mix a chemical that is called as a reagent that is called as X-Gull. X-Gull chemically it is 5-bromo-4-chloro-3-indolyl beta-D galactosides. In short form we are going to call it X-Gull. This is galactoside molecules, galactose, and this is the specific chemicals. Whenever we are going to use beta galactosidase enzymes, or if bacteria produces this beta galactosidase enzymes, this beta galactosidase is going to digest this bond. So ultimately we are going to get 5-bromo-4-chloro-3-hydroxy-indolyl, and galactoside will be separated out from this one. If bacteria is having intact LAC-Z gene, if LAC-Z gene is splitted, then this enzyme will not be there, then X-Gull will be there. So the normal color of X-Gull is colorless, or it will be give you white color. This 5-bromo-4-chloro-3-hydroxy-indolyl automatically self oxidization is going to occur, and it is going to be dimerized, and it gives you a dark blue color. Now here is the main principle. So if a bacteria is having LAC-Z gene intact, means they produces this beta galactosidase, and if bacteria produces beta galactosidase, this X-Gull is going to be converted into dark blue color pigment. So any bacteria who have this LAC-Z gene, they gives you blue color, means and if bacteria does not have LAC-Z genes, LAC-Z gene means intact LAC-Z genes, if it will be splitted, insertion occurs, then this is not going to be produced, and that will give you white colony. So white colony means gene of interest has been inserted between the LAC-Z genes, and if blue color colony, it means it is no insertion has been there. Along with this one, we are also going to use one kind of inducer in the culture media, that is called as IPTG. Chemically IPTG is isopropyl beta-D thiogalactoside. This is a molecular mimic of allolactose. Allolactose is nothing, it is a lactose metabolite, which normally triggers the transcription of the lac operon. So if we are having yellow lactose, so lac I genes normally going to, if we are having lac I genes normally going to produce repressors, and yellow lactose, if it will be present in the culture media, so yellow lactose binds to the repressors, so repressor does not able to bind to the operator sites, and then RNA polymerase binds here and expression occurs. So similar function will be done here by IPTG. So means yellow lactose is going to inhibit, block the repressor molecules and expression occurs. So if we are having IPTG, this is doing the same things, only difference is IPT is non-metabolized. Bacteria cannot metabolize this IPTG, so it is not at all going to be digested. So whatever IPTG we are going to get, it will going to be working only for the expression systems. Now if we are having no IPTG in the culture media, then lac-I gives you repressor proteins, and repressor is going to bind to the operator sites. In that case, RNA polymerase is not able to bind here, and if RNA polymerase will not bind here, no expression will be there. But in the reverse case, if we are having IPTG in the culture media, so IPTG, which star shape you are going to see, that is IPTG. So if it will bind with the repressor proteins, and repressor will be inactivated. Once repressor will be inactivated, it is not able to bind there on the operator sites. In that case, RNA polymerase will bind and gene expression will take place. Means IPTG help us in the expression of the gene. If you don't have IPTG, no expression will be there, because repressor will be able to bind to the operator site, and if you are having IPTG, then repressor will not bind there. So that is the function of IPTG in this culture media. Now what is going to happen in this blue-white screening? In this case, we are having a foreign insert, foreign DNA which we want to clone, and we are having a plasmid. In this plasmid, this portion is the LAC-Z gene, which is having a multi-cloning site. So we are going to use same restriction endonuclease for both the cleavage. So we have got similar type of cleavage STK on the gene of interest, and similar type of cloning STK on the plasmid. So as a result, when you are going to mix these two, it might be possible that gene of interest is not going to be inserted, and this, because this is complementary to this one, so this is going to be self-ligated. So it might be possible that you are going to have self-ligated plasmid without any insert, or it may be possible that you have got gene of interest has been inserted there. So gene of interest has been inserted there. So in this case, we are going to get two different type of sample. One is recircularized reassembled vectors, and second one is where cloning has been done. So cloned vectors. After that one, we are going to insert into this one into the competent bacterial cells, competent host cells. Competent host cells means the bacterial cell, the host cell who is ready to take this one. So in your culture plate, you are having all the competent cells. There you are going to put this normal vectors, which is recircularized, and you are having a recombinant vector. So there are three possibilities. Either bacterial cell does not going to take anything, so nothing is going to be taken by bacterial cells, or bacteria is going to get only one type of plasmid, that is recircularized plasmid, non-recombinant plasmid, or it is going to get recombinant plasmid. So I have to pick the first one. This is of not really needed, because it does not have anything, so I don't require this one, so it is not needed and need to be discarded. Second, this is also of no use, because gene of interest is not there, so this also not required and it need to be discarded. The only this is of our interest, so only I have to pick this one. Now we are going to grow all the three bacteria, which is either it will be cloned, which is having a recombinant vectors, which is having normal circularized vector, and which is having nothing. So we are going to grow on a culture plate, Petri plate, and that culture media contains ampicillin, because this gene is having ampicillin resistance gene. So what, because this is having ampicillin antibiotics in that one, so this bacteria is automatically going to die, because it will not survive because in the presence of ampicillin. So because of ampicillin, this bacteria will die, so it will be discarded. Because this two bacteria is having ampicillin gene, resistance gene, and that is an intact gene. So only those bacteria will survive who will have a plasmid which contains the intact antibiotic resistance gene, and that will be present in these two. So this bacteria will survive and this bacteria will survive. Now I have to select this one from out of these two. So how we are going to select our gene of our bacteria which is transformed out of these two. So we have these two type of bacteria, one which is having recircularized plasmid, one which is having our gene of interest. So because in this case, in the previous case, it is having intact LAC-Z gene, so they expresses beta galactosidase. So beta galactosidase will be produced, and this beta galactosidase is going to works on X-gull. So X-gull will be metabolized and it will give you a blue colony. But in this case, LAC-Z gene is going to be it is not going to give you beta galactosidase, because LAC-Z gene will be spliced, it will be fragmented. So no beta galactosidase will be produced here, and because of that one, X-gull is not metabolized and the colony remains white. So the bacteria which contains your gene of interest, which is a transformed, which is a recombinant plasmids, they will give you white colony, and those bacteria who does not have recombinant plasmid, they are going to give you blue colony. So this is the case. So we are having a plasmids, here we have inserted our genes, then there are three possibilities: foreign gene not inserted, recircularized plasmid, nothing is there, no plasmid is going to be taken, and here your foreign DNA is inserted. So in this case, because nothing is there, so because of in presence of ampicillin, this bacteria will die. So no bacteria will not grow. This will grow, but because LAC-Z gene is intact, so it will give you it will metabolize X-gull, it will give you beta galactosidase enzyme will be produced from the LAC-Z genes, and it will give you metabolite of X-gull, and that will be blue color. And here recombinant vector is there, so it will give you white colony. So colony becomes white. So this is the summary of things. Only plasmid with the functional LAC-Z, means intact LAC-Z gene, can grow on X-gull. So if we are having LAC-Z plus intact LAC-Z, it is going to give you blue colony. If LAC-Z is functional, means polylinker is intact, nothing is inserted, no clone, blue colony. And if LAC-Z is minus, means LAC-Z has been digested, splitted, gene has been inserted, in that case white colony will be there, in this case of recombinant. So once you have got this blue and white colony, so white colony is your transformed bacteria, so you are going to pick the white colony from that one and you are going to culture into the different flask, different samples. So after that one, you are going to culture it, you are going to pelleting the bacteria, you are going to lyse the bacteria, you are going to get your plasmid elution, and then that will be stored for your future use. So this is how you are going to grow a bacteria depending on the basis of the transformations, and you are going to select your transformed bacterial cells which has got the recombinant plasmid on the basis of LAC-Z gene with the help of blue white screening. So hope you have understood it. If you have any query, any comments, you can write in the comment box. Next day we will come with the next selectable marker genes, that is alpha compartmentation or the replica plating. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.